We see the instant no shield deployed Alpha Club, saving Typhlosion a 2 to no shield advantage. The opponent essentially has one win con, and that is having Gastron in the back. Oh, trainer, that is not the Pokemon you need to have any chance of winning this battle. Alpha Club, invest the Protect Shield, farms up to 100 energy, and we all know how this one ends. Blast Burn removes Drapion from the field of play, and when Trevenant does return, it's very quickly going to get burnt to a crisp. Welcome back to the channel. Season 22 has gave us an immense move update. However, not all trainers have the resources to be spending like 600,000 dust on all these new meta-relevant Pokemon. If you find yourself in that position, don't worry, there are plenty of Pokemon that received no buffs whatsoever that still more than get the job done. Alpha Club is showcasing a team that he's used for a couple of seasons now, and today we're calling it no buffs required. It's been a couple of days since I've uploaded, and if you're wondering why that is, well, it's just been my birthday, so I gave myself a well-deserved day off. Feel free to guess in the comment section down below how old you think I just turned. I'll give you a little hint, I'm pretty old. Before we get into today's video, huge shout out firstly for Alpha Club, not only sending in the battle footage, but also pre-editing the battles, so I've essentially just got a shoutcast. Secondly, a huge shout out to Pat for providing the graphics you can see on the left hand side. With that being said, without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, we're going to lead Feraligatr into Ampharos. Not a particularly good lead whatsoever. We're going to see the instant save switch into Drapion, baiting out Poliwrath. Alpha Club opting for the stab sludge bomb, which certainly helps out in this matchup, instantly rocking Poliwrath below half health. This team is almost identical to the Team No Bonfire head put together, with Chestnut, Drapion and Typhlosion, my favourite Great League team to currently run. So how it's going to function is an ABB team, whereas if you don't see the ground type in the lead, we're going to say switch into Drapion, looking to bait it out, clearing the path for Typhlosion to sweep the back line. We didn't manage to bait out a ground type, but Poliwrath also something Typhlosion doesn't particularly want to see, as of course water does resist fire. Alpha Club sends back out Gator, tanks the charge move, farms up, fires off the Hydro Cannon on the CMP tie, removing Poliwrath from the field of play. Back out comes Ampharos. Alpha Club looking for some chip into action, fires off the Hydro Cannon, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. Typhlosion hits the field of play with a 2 to no shield advantage. Typhlosion has an absolutely insane win rate, up 2 Protect Shields, unless it's Gastron in the back. Even Zygarde cannot beat Typhlosion. Skeledirge fires off the disarming voice bait. However, no bait will be saving this opponent's fate. Alpha Club gonna fire off the Thunder Punch on the charge attack priority. Down goes Skeledirge. Ampharos re-enters the arena. The opponent does instant throw. However, that's neither here nor there. Even if the opponent committed to good fast move timing, Typhlosion would be sweeping the backline. Blast Burn picks up the one-hit KO, and we're off to a 1-0 start. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, we see a neutral lead with Sylveon. However, despite this, Alpha Club sticking to the strategy of save switching into his Drapion, looking to bait out Typhlosion's hardest counter. We go straight for the Sludge Bomb, unfortunately forcing a Protect Shield. The opponent just fires off a Psyshock. Psyshock going to be single resisted, as Dark double resist Psychic and Poison does take super effective. Drapion withstands the damage, fires off the next Sludge Bomb, and once again we've set up Typhlosion with that 2 to no shield advantage. Alpha Club opts to send back out the oppressive spammy Alligator, not revealing Typhlosion just yet. The opponent fire off the Psyshock, then make the pivot into Armored Mewtwo. Alpha Club going to be very happy, much like our Alligator, grinning ear to ear, as Typhlosion isn't going to particularly fancy this matchup, as we don't tank fast move pressure well whatsoever. Gator fires off the next Hydro Cannon, rocking them in a range where Typhlosion can snipe, only taking one single confusion. The opponent sends out Gator. They throw on alignment. Oh boy, yet again Typhlosion already sweeping the back line. The opponent farms up, make the catch, back onto Sylveon. A very nice catch, trainer, but Typhlosion just has far too much energy. Alpha Club gonna YOLO the Blast Burn. Is it necessary? Super necessary. Blast Burn rocks them into the red health range. We reach the Thunder Punch, and Typhlosion is gonna clean up. GG's. What I really like about this team is it's one of the cheapest teams you can run in the Open Ultra League. Ultra League has a bit of a barrier to entry, as everything is heavily excelled in this meta. However, both Gator and Typhlosion are only around level 30. Drapion, I'm sure is excelled. I'm not entirely sure on Alpha Club's IVs. However, I'm sure a lot of you know that I run a Hundo that's only level 41.5. Speaking of XL Pokemon, we see level 50 Talonflame in the lead. Pretty interesting, the opponent's opting to stay in against a water type Alpha Club, able to force both protections of this Kentucky Fried Chicken. Bird of Death, Alpha Club, going to shield up the next fly. The opponent then pivot out into the mirror, Alpha Club, going for some chippity action. I really like this play. One Hydro Cannon will put him in a range where Drapion only has to land a single move to pick up the knockout. As expected, Drapion hits the field of play. The opponent fire off the Hydro Cannon. Drapion withstands the damage and Alpha Club goes straight for the crunch, and that will be removing Gator. Down goes Gator. The opponent opt to send out Registeel, and oh boy, I cannot wait for Typhlosion to run rampant yet again. Drapion lands the crunch. Crunch isn't going to do all that much damage, but the opponent is never ever lock on farming us down. If the opponent's smart, I'd probably bank all this energy and look to snipe with Talonflame. The opponent actually don't do that, end up playing to the CMP side. They do not win. Shout out the GOAT, home slice Henry. Typhlosion hits the field of play. The opponent able to outpace, but Typhlosion more than happy to invest a Protect Shield here. The opponent fire off the Flash Cannon bait, pivot back out into Talonflame. Alpha Club gonna fire off the Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch hits for super effective, picks up the knockout. Back out comes the Tin Can, and the opponent concedes the match. In the next battle, we see a battle of starters. The opponent farm up 2 Incinerate, make the pivot into Tapu Fini, and here comes Drapion. Drapion goes straight for the Sludge Bomb. Does the opponent respect the damage? Of course they don't. Near enough, everyone expects Aqua Tail. The opponent get rock deep into the red health range. The opponent fire off the Nature's Madness. Drapion withstands the damage. Back out comes Skeledirge, and the opponent is going to have to throw, or they're going to have to tank a crunch to the face. I'm quite surprised to see Alpha Club invest a Protect Shield here. We are going to force a Protect Shield back, but this Skeledirge is now vamped up, and they are going to get a farm down. Alpha Club sends back out Gator, fires off the correct 2 Shadow Claws and the Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon forces the opponent's final Protect Shield, and Alpha Club now has a decision to make. He opts to no shield. The opponent just fire off the Disarmor Voice, continue to stay in, which means Gator is going to pick up a knockout with the Hydro Cannon. We are spamming the switch. Typhlosion sees a penguin in the back. The opponent says no thank you, and once again the opponent concedes the match. Torch Song Disarming Voice, interesting moveset. I think if I was to run Skeledirge, I'd definitely run that Stab Shadow Ball. However, the opponent opting for Disarming Voice, and we take that game. In the next battle, we see Grumpig in the lead. I've tried this Pokemon out in his Shadow variant. I think it's so underwhelming. An example of that is this matchup. Both his charge moves in Ultra League don't get the same type attack bonus, and I just find it so underwhelming to use. The opponent recognising they're going to get outpaced, makes the catch onto Galarian Weezing, but this Weezing very quickly gets answered with Typhlosion. Typhlosion goes to the 1 shield, full Incinerate farm down. Back out comes Grumpig. Alpha Club more than happy to burn the final Protect Shield, then farms up to 100 energy, and the opponent can really pick their poison. We go straight for the Blast Burn, removing Grumpig from the field of play. Out comes the second Fairy type, and Typhlosion once again will be cleaning up. We fire off the Blast Burn, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. Alpha Club isn't lagging, he's just playing with his food. We attempt to make a catch onto Gator. The catch attempt is unsuccessful. We're able to land the Hydro Cannon, rocking them below half health. Alpha Club sends out Drapion, and I'm really going to anticipate the opponent finally top left in. It looks like they're playing it out to the very bitter end. This opponent's on Dazzling Gleam. Whilst Dazzling Gleam has been reworked this season, it's certainly not the correct move to run on Clefable. Dazzling Gleam at 55 energy for 90 damage. For an extra 5 energy, you could have Moonblast, which is 60 damage, 110, and also has a 10% chance to debuff the opponent's attack. So what I'm saying is, for those of you Clefable fans that stick to Moonblast, as it is objectively a better move, in the next battle, we see Guzzlord in the lead. Alpha Club stays in, able to sneak the Ice Beam through 2 Protect Shields, instantly rocking them into the red health range. After landing the Ice Beam, I would have liked to see Alpha Club make a catch, or at least pivot out into Drapion, as potentially if the opponent's got a ground type, we could be in a spot of bother here. Alpha Club fires off the Hydro Cannon, obtaining himself a shield advantage, and sends out Drapion. Drapion going to be operating as the damage sponge and look for a Poison Sting farm down. Unfortunately, Drapion unable to Poison Sting farm down before the second charge move is reached. The second time the opponent threw the correct move of Dragon Claw. The first time they Brutal Swinged us instantly. Why, I'm not entirely sure. Out comes Virizion. Alpha Club has Sludge Bomb, which gets no respect. I was actually watching someone's video yesterday. I can't remember who, but they made a comparison saying Virizion in the Ultra League does what Azumarill does in the Great League. They take super effective from Drapion's quick move, but fully wall the moveset. But unfortunately for this opponent, we're running Sludge Bomb. The opponent had Talonflame in the back, and then they conceded the match. In the next battle, We see a Lowland Sandslash in the lead, aka Sonic the Hedgehog. Alpha Club forced to protect shield. The opponent then goes for the Ice Punch bait. Alpha Club knows this is only another Ice Punch. Gator able to tank both. We then pause a turn, ensuring the Hydro Cannon lands on its intended target. The opponent get rocked deep into the red health range, and we're actually able to simul KO. Alpha Club obtaining themselves a shield advantage. We haven't quite got a switch advantage. However, we send out Drapion and out comes Giratina. This is perfect for us, as this is one of the matchups Typhlosion doesn't particularly fancy. However, spoiler alert, if you've got a 2-0 shield advantage, you can still win this one as well. The only way you beat Typhlosion with a 2-0 shield advantage is if you have a Mod Boy that's running Mod Slap, and outside of Gastron, I can't really think of another one in the Ultra League. What else lands Mod Slap? If there's anything, feel free to post it down below. My mind is very blank, as I'm currently shoutcasting at 5 in the morning. The opponent makes the pivot into Glisserpod. We fire off the Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb does do slightly more damage than a Crunch, and is better DP, but of course Crunch does have that defense drop chance. Alpha Club goes for the maximum damage, sends out Typhlosion, able to get the one shield, full Incinerate farm down. Giratina doesn't want that work, and they concede the match. Quite surprised to see the opponent there go for the X-Scissor, which probably means they've got a TM crisis. I think Aquajet X-Scissor is definitely the correct move this season, but I feel like that opponent feels, as I'm very, very broke on TMs. In the next battle, we saw Annihilate in the lead. The opponent made a very nice catch the Hydro Cannon onto their own Shadow Gator. Alpha Club rebanks a Hydro Cannon and then sends out Drapion. Drapion and Gator pace at the same speed to Crunch and Hydro Cannon respectively, taking 10 turns, but Gator has the higher attack, meaning they can always win the charge attack priority. Alpha Club invests the Protect Shield, farms up one quick move before the next Hydro Cannon's reached, removing them from the field of play. Back out comes Annihilate. The opponent invests that Protect Shield, shielding up the Crunch. We then go for the wham, bam, combo play. Fire off the Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon very quickly forces the opponent all shields down. And again, we're going to save that final Protect Shield for Typhlosion. The opponent actually forced into close combat, which is best case scenario for us, meaning the opponent is going to be forced to switch out and reset that debuff. At least that's what I would do, because if you stay in, you're just going to give Typhlosion a whole heap of free farm and get fully Incinerate farm down. The opponent actually had Blastoise in the back, so I'm really bamboozled why the opponent stayed in. I think if they instantly sent out Blastoise, they'd have a good chance of winning this game. However, as Typhlosion's got a huge energy lead, Alpha Club able to land back-to-back Thunder Punches, put them in a range where Drapion can Poison Sting farm down, but Alpha Club like, nah, we're going to make a nice little catch. The opponent go for the undercharge, look to roll out farm down, but they've got hardly any HP. They get Poison Stung farm down, and we take that game. In the next battle, we see Guzzlord in the lead. Last time, Alpha Club was able to land the Ice Beam through 2 Protect Shields. The opponent opting to stay in, fire off the Brutal Swing. Alpha Club once again full sending. Does this opponent respect the damage? Ice Beam. Boo. Goes shielded. However, undeterred, Alpha Club able to reach the second Ice Beam. Ice Beam this time does land, rocking them into the red health range. I really don't like how this opponent has played this opening matchup. The first thing they did wrong was throw the Brutal Swing on alignment. They threw it after 4 Dragon Tails. They're using a 3-turn move. We're using a 2-turn move, so they should have thrown an odd number. Instead, they give us a free Shadow Claw. After shielding up the Ice Beam, they should have then thrown a charge move, looking to force our shield if we wanted to get the second Ice Beam off. Alpha Club sent out Drapion. The opponent pivots into Skeledirge. Alpha Club able to force the opponent's final Protect Shield, once again setting up Typhlosion with that magical 2-0 shield advantage. Alpha Club correctly shields up the Shadow Ball. Alpha Club could have fired off the Thunder Punch, winning charge attack priority, but instead he's going to opt to double shield. The opponent fire off the Torch Song. Again, pretty strange bait. The opponent had the energy for a Shadow Ball, went for the bait for no reason whatsoever. The opponent then sent out Talonflame, try and make a catch. Alpha Club like, nah, we've got double Thunder Punch. Unfortunately, one won't quite be lethal, but thankfully we've got that second. Alpha Club actually going to YOLO the Blast Burn. Blast Burn is resisted, but still going to get the job done. And we even get a cheeky screenshot for the road. Heading into the next battle, we see a neutral lead for Feraligatr into Galarian Weezing, which now has access to Sludge. Speaking of which, the opponent bank a Sludge for the road and then enter the mirror. Alpha Club happy to stay in, fires off the Hydro Cannon. Alpha Club then attempts to fire off the next Hydro Cannon, but loses CMP. This opponent, like a lot of opponents this season, is actually running Crunch. Crunch will help out in matchups like Blastoise, Lapras, and of course in the mirror. However, I still like Ice Beam, not that I have any intention of running Gator anytime soon. I think both Blastoise and Lapras, the buff water types, are a lot more fun. Alpha Club able to pick up the knockout. We then see their pivot into Drapion, and there is that ground type that we're looking to bait out, although Typhlosion very much would love to get its mitts on this Steelix. Does Typhlosion have mitts? I don't know. What am I on about? Just pretend I never said that. The opponent doesn't farm up to an Earthquake, just fire off the break-in swipe. The opponent then makes a very nice catching the crunch onto Galarian Weezing. Unless the opponent's running like Play Rough as a second move, they are going to be fully walled here. If they're on Sludge and Brutal Swing, Sludge is the correct move to throw, as it does get same type attack bonus and does do objectively more. Speaking of which, the opponent fires off the Brutal Swing, perhaps not even running Sludge, who knows. The opponent then correctly shields up the Sludge Bomb, fire off one further Brutal Swing, picking up the knockout. Typhlosion hits the field of play with that magical 2-0 shield advantage. We are going to invest a Protect Shield. Holy, that was a Hyper Beam. Fucking hell, I did not see that one coming. Excuse my French there. I'm sure YouTube are going to demonetize yet another video, but at this point, I don't even care. Typhlosion farms up to the double blast burn. The opponent looks to call the bait, because essentially us baiting for no reason whatsoever would be the win con, and we take that game. In the next battle, we see Trevenant in the lead. I'm anticipating us throwing 6, trying to make the Seed Bomb catch onto Drapion. We do exactly that, but our catch attempt is unsuccessful. Our Drapion Save Switch baits out Dragalge. Very, very nice to bait this thing out, as there's another matchup that Typhlosion doesn't particularly fancy. We land the crunch, the opponent fire off the Aqua Tail, Drapion withstands the damage, Alpha Club goes to the correct one Poison Sting, and the next crunch. This crunch won't quite be lethal, but does obtain us a shield advantage. The super spammy Scorpion able to reach one further crunch. The opponent goes all in on Dragalge and looks to commit to that Dragon Tail farm down. Feraligatr re-enters the arena, over farms, fires off the Ice Beam. Ice Beam removes Dragalge from the field of play. Back out comes Trevenant, and Trevenant opts to throw energy. We see the instant no shield deployed. Alpha Club trusting these 2 shield Typhlosion. Typhlosion hits the field of play. Trainer, that is not a Gastrodon, and we all know how this one's going to end. Alpha Club farms up to 100 energy. Of course, we're going to shield up whatever the opponent throw. They opt for the crunch. Typhlosion at the back-to-back blast burns. Blast burn removes Drapion from the field of play. When Trevenant does return, it's very quickly going to get burnt to a crisp. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle. Once again, seeing the Kentucky Fried Chicken Bird of Death. The opponent opting to stay in. Alpha Club fires off the correct 7 Shadow Claws and the Hydro Cannon. That is 14 turns into Talonflames, 15 turns or 3 Incinerates. The opponent also throw up very nice timing. 1 Incinerate, which is 5 turns into Gator's 6. I see so many people running Talonflame, just instant throwing charge moves, giving away 3 turns left, right, and centre. The opponent sends out Guzzlord. We fired off the Hydro Cannon bait and then send out Drapion. On most of my teams, when I run Drapion, aka the channel mascot, I do opt for Sludge Bomb in Ultra League, and this matchup is one of the matchups specifically it helps out in. You can see Sludge Bomb hits for a lot of neutral damage, and you're actually able to more or less 2-shot with the residual Poison Stings. Alpha Club able to reach that second Sludge Bomb, removing them from the field of play. Out comes Talonflame. Talonflame able to Incinerate farm down, leaving with a charge move. We send out Typhlosion once again with that 2-0 shield advantage. The opponent fire off the Flame Charge bait. I'm anticipating the opponent looking to make a catch, and they do indeed do exactly that. The opponent catches the Thunder Punch onto Belly Bolt. What a savage catch. This thing is such a bulky pest, but Typhlosion about to put that bulk to the test. We shield up the discharge. Alpha Club gonna farm up to 100 energy. Belly Bolt, you might think you're thick, but are you thick enough? Evidently they're not, as Blast Burn removes them from the field of play. We've got that Thunder Punch banked, and despite the opponent doing their best attempt, making a very nice catch, Typhlosion still on cleanup duty. GG's. Heading into the next battle, we see the Feraligatr Mirror. I'm quite grateful this mirror isn't anywhere near as common as it used to be, as now we've got other water types with that water ice coverage that Feraligatr offers, such as Blastoise and Lapras, as previously mentioned. Alpha Club tanks the Hydro Cannon, fires off his own Hydro Cannon, obtaining himself a shield advantage. Alpha Club last second investor Protect Shield on that Hydro Cannon. He's then going to return fire with yet another Hydro Cannon, and this is why I think I hate this matchup. It's just a lot of me saying Hydro Cannon over and over again. Right on cue, Alpha Club's Feraligatr reaches, you guessed it, yet another Hydro Cannon, getting them deep into the red health range. Alpha Club sends out Drapion. Very surprised to see him invest the Protect Shield here. I anticipated a saving it for Typhlosion, but it looks like we've got to change this strategy. The opponent actually YOLO the Ice Beam, then send out Registeel. Alpha Club makes the pivot into Typhlosion, but Typhlosion is going to get outpaced. Typhlosion is a monster with shields to hide behind, but you can see in the zero shield matchup, it really doesn't tank any charge moves whatsoever. Zap Cannon rocks us into the red. Out comes Cresselia, and Cresselia is able to outpace to the Grass Knot. Grass Knot will be picking up the knockout, and it's all down to Drapion to clean up. Drapion hits the field of play. Alpha Club over farms, fires off the Crunch. Crunch will pick up the knockout. And this is all going to come down to whether 2 Crunches knock out or if the opponent can get that very annoying debuff. Alpha Club unleashes the first Crunch. Do we get that 30% chance of the defense drop? We do not. I believe Zap Cannon is now only a 66% chance of an attack drop. Although if you look at Alpha Club's energy generation, it looks like even the attack drop wouldn't save this opponent, as the super spammy Scorpion would be able to outpace 2 the back-to-back Crunches, but as the opponent got very unfortunate, not getting the attack drop, only 1 Crunch is required, and we take that game. In the next battle, once again, we see the Guzzlord lead. The opponent again do throw instantly, so if you're looking to prove your Go Battle League skills, a good place to start is fast move timing. I'm guessing a lot of Guzzlords are throwing instantly, wanting to get off some damage before we potentially reach an Ice Beam. But you can see 1 Ice Beam is survivable, so I'd still personally recommend throwing at good timing. Alpha Club's able to land the Ice Beam, the opponent throw the Dragon Claw, picking up the knockout. Again, we send out Drapion. Drapion going to be looking for that full Poison Sting farm down, which we're unable to get before the departing Dragon Claws reach, but that's fine. I don't know why the opponent's crunching there, perhaps fishing for the defense drop. The opponent then sends out the Kentucky Fried Chicken, Bird of Death. 1 Crunch isn't quite lethal. Alpha Club going to fire off 4 further Poison Stings and the next Crunch. This Crunch is going to force the opponent's final Protect Shield, and they opt to throw energy. Alpha Club instantly no shield, saving Typhlosion that 2 to no shield advantage. Does this opponent finally have Gastrodon in the back? We're about to find out. The opponent doesn't make a catch. Thunder Punch picks up the knockout. What is that third? It's Skeletor's trainer. This game is going to end in defeat. The opponent tried to sack Guzzlord unsuccessfully. Alpha Club gets a free Incinerate. He's now at 100 energy. The opponent fire off the Torch Song, but that's neither here nor there. The opponent do vamp up their attack, but that 1 single Incinerate will not knock us out. Blast Burn rocks them into the red, and the next Blast Burn is going to be all she wrote. GG's. Heading into the next battle, we've got some bonus battles with a slightly different team. As I said in the intro, this footage comes to me pre-edited up with all the graphics provided, so thanks to both Alpha Club and Pat for that. We let Galarian Weezing into Swampert, we save switch into Drifblim, and the opponent sends out their own Galarian Weezing. Alpha Club tanks the Brutal Swing, full sends the Shadow Ball, instantly rocking them below half health. G-Weezy is just so incredibly spammy, only taking 4 Fairy Wings to the Brutal Swing. Alpha Club invest the Protect Shield, but if he wants switch, he's going to have to double shield, and it looks like that is exactly what he wants to do. He wants to hard fight for alignment. Alpha Club down both Protect Shields, but we now get out of that awful matchup of Swampert into our Galarian Weezing. The opponent sends out Swampert, we full send the Shadow Ball. Alpha Club able to reach another Shadow Ball and looks to force the opponent all shields down. The opponent tanked the second Shadow Ball, saving their final Protect Shield. Swampert farms up, fires off the Hydro Cannon picks up the knockout. Gator hits the field of play, and out comes Grumpig. Grumpig going to be greeted with the Hydro Cannon forces the opponent's final protection. Alpha Club farms up, attempting to catch a Dynamic Punch unsuccessfully. That now means we're going to have to tank a Shadow Ball, but that's fine as Grumpig just doesn't hit particularly hard. Alpha Club could have fired off the OV, but I think he intentionally did not throw there, as our Luzcon would be getting farmed down and Swampert outpacing our Alligator. Gator re-enters the arena. Feraligatr looks to pick up the knockout with the Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon does remove them from the field of play. The opponent's going to have to reach an Earthquake, but the Alligator far too quick, far too spammy, and Feraligatr is going to clean up. GG's. Heading into the next battle, we see G-Weezy into Skeledirge. This is a matchup we can stay in. We've got 2 better responses in the back, so we say switch into Drifblim, baiting out Ampharos. Very nice to bait this thing out, as we are ABB weak to Electric. We farm to the Shadow Ball bait with the Icy Wind. Alpha Club looks to fire off the next Icy Wind, and I believe we actually overtapped there, which is kind of unfortunate. However, the opponent go for the Trailblaze. No trainer, that is not the play. Alpha Club able to get off the Icy Wind, forcing us a shield advantage here in the mid game. I think Brutal Swing on Ampharos is kind of mandatory, so with that in mind, we should fully wall the moveset. The opponent fire off the Trailblaze. G-Weezy gets a massive Fairy Wind farm down. Back out comes Skeledirge. And this Skeledirge is in trouble as we have so much energy. The first Brutal Swing lands. We fire off 2 further fairy winds. Throwing at discipline time in this next brutal swing. We'll be very close to knocking out a rock skeleton onto 1 HP and a dream. Out comes Glisserpod. We're going to YOLO the OV. Does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. Gator hits the field of play with 2 to no shield advantage, and this game is signed, sealed and delivered. Alpha Club instantly no shields, telling the opponent to throw whatever they like. They throw the X Scissor. The opponent is able to reach 1 depart and X Scissor. We finally invest a Protect Shield, Shadow Claw farm down everything, and take that game. Heading into the next battle, we see the annoying bulky Vulture. This is kind of an awkward matchup for us, so we haven't got Sludge or OV, but of course the opponent doesn't know that, so they save switch into Grumpig. We send out Drifblim. It looks like Alpha Club's playing these battles outside as his route is paused. We shield up the Shadow Ball. Alpha Club not messing around. Looks to pick up a knockout, firing off his own Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball sneaks through 2 Protect Shields. Back out comes Mandibars, and it's going to be death by debuffs. Although in fairness, in Ultra League, a non-stab Icy Wind won't do much of anything. It looks like you need like 4 Icy Winds to pick up the knockout. The opponent nicely over farm. However, this is a foul play. It probably won't be lethal. The opponent on Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse does pick up the knockout. Out comes Steelix. Steelix with 2 shields to hide behind is going to be quite problematic for us. We send out Gator. The opponent instantly debuff us with the Psychic Fangs. Alpha Club going to farm up. Fire off the Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon forces the opponent's first Protect Shield. Gator fires off the next Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon forces the opponent's final Protect Shield, and the opponent's going to get a massive Thunderfang farm down. Do we even win this game? It doesn't look promising. We are going to have to land an OV on this Steelix to pick up the knockout, and then after doing that, we are going to debuff ourselves, meaning our Fairy Winds are going to do even less, and the OV after this is going to do even less to Mandibars. It's going to be a race. The opponent's going to need to reach 3 aerial aces to remove us from the field of play. Alpha Club able to tank 1, able to shield 1. OV even debuffed, does do a lot of damage. We're going to invest the final Protect Shield, blocking up this aerial ace, and it's going to be a race. Who wins the race? Can the opponent reach the final aerial ace to pick up the knockout? They cannot. G-Weezy able to clean up. GG's, and thanks for playing. And that is just about going to wrap things up for today's video. Huge shout out to both Alpha Club and Pat for putting the footage and the graphics together. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button if you're new. Consider subscribing if you'd like your battles featured on my channel. A link to my battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thanks to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.